Welcome to Biblical Christian Content, where we like to keep the content biblical. Let's go.
So I have the theory that if you ingest enough drugs, that what you do is essentially erode like the barriers between like other dimensions and stuff.
What would the voices say?
There were like nice things that some voices would say, and there were like mean things. So I would categorize them as angels and demons.
Yeah.
As an unconverted, unsaved, not born again man, he even says that he believes if you do X amount of drugs, that it does open kind of like a doorway to spiritual things. And I believe that 100%.
There was another time when I was sitting in this big swiveling chair, and the whole thing just straight went up in flames with me sitting in it, like full fire. I was surrounded, the whole chair was completely on fire, and I wasn't being burned by it. It was just like, wow, you know? And it was to me like, it was like legit, like trickster spirits that were just entertaining me. You know, and ultimately, like, I suppose I would now categorize them as demons because they made me want so much to keep these experiences happening. And so that just drove the addiction, and I just consumed more and more and more.
And what were the angels doing?
They were expressing concern for me that they wanted me to not destroy myself.
But yet and still, he said I was sitting in a chair that was on complete fire, but yet I wasn't burned at all. This is exactly the same exact story in the Bible. It's crazy. The same story of Moses and the burning bush. That's one of the most well-known stories in the entire Bible, that God calls him. The bush was burning, and Moses said, Moses was drawn to the bush because he said, I saw the entire bush on fire, yet it wasn't being consumed. And this is exactly what Steve-O just said. How wild is that? And then Steve-O goes on to say that there was a clear distinction in his mind, that he can tell the difference between an angel because of how the angel kind of treated him or acted towards him, and the demons. And the demons wanted him to continue on in wickedness. I mean, this is an unsaved, unborn again man, and he is saying everything that lines up precisely with the Bible.
At one point, I was sitting there in that same chair that went up in flames, and I had all this cocaine and all this nitrous oxide, and I was, just like days into it. And I leaned over to do like another line of cocaine, and I just thought, like, I'm killing myself. Like, like there's no longevity in what I'm doing. Like, this is just full-blown self-destruction at this point, like I'm dying. And I remember thinking, like, in that moment, I thought the very precise, distinct words. I thought, I don't care if I die. And then I leaned in to do the line of cocaine, and all in that moment, I don't care if I die. And I leaned forward, and that same chair, like, it was like it turned into a mechanical bull. Like some like super strong man was just like, and the message to me was like so crystal clear. And it was just like, think again, like stop, like no, like not okay. It is not okay for you to think, I don't care if you die. You need to care that you don't die. Now, and I'm super clear as well that if there was like a surveillance camera inside the apartment, like now, this was purely my own.
Right.
And I determined that whatever made that chair spin and those shoes tap would be what I prayed to when, when I need to turn to my higher power. And I still, like, that has not changed, like not one tiny little bit.
What do you mean?
Like whatever made that chair spin. This, like here I am, well over 10 years later, and I'm telling you, that chair spun. Those shoes tapped. Like, that's a fact. And like, that experience was a big deal. I mean, I wasn't ready at the time. I didn't like turn around and like, get healthy.
Right.
but that like planted a seed that I like lean into, you know, that's something that for me to like, that experience is something for me to grab onto. Like, you know, there's something out there that cares about me.